Definitely the high stakes nature of MCAS affects my students. I work exclusively with students who are experiencing difficulty learning to read. I had a parent share with me at the end of last school year, third grade parent, that his daughter had gone home and cried after the first day of taking the ELA MCAS, and third grade is the first year that kids take it. And very soon after, that student was diagnosed with dyslexia. It didn't help that parent really to know that his kid was experiencing difficulty to read. She had been identified for intervention and eventually was identified with a reading disability, but she had to undergo a lot of emotional distress, and he saw that in her. So it's definitely affecting the young kids right away in third grade.
You mentioned something that it's really personal to me as a fifth grade educator, and I saw a statistic last week that approximately 20% of all learners are dyslexic. But I'm wondering, as a reading interventionist at an elementary school level, how do you use the MCAS to provide intervention, support, or diagnose for students who are dyslexic?
Yeah, so we use a lot of assessment and data in my job to identify students early on to get them the help they need right away. And MCAS scores are not available until the year after. So we do not use them in any way to help identify extra services for students. And it's really just not a good assessment to identify early needs in literacy.
Yeah, thank you. And can you tell me a little bit more about standards-based education and education that we see in a lot of our schools around the skill set to pass the test?
We've seen over the past few decades high-stakes testing resulting in a narrowing of the curriculum that's taken a lot of social studies and science out of the school day. Students might be doing those subjects, usually just one or the other, once a day for 30 minutes. Well, they're doing like 90 minutes of reading and 90 minutes of math. So we know as reading specialists, one of the best things we can do to help students' reading comprehension over the long term is to actually have a knowledge-building curriculum. A lot of reading comprehension is really building on your world knowledge that you've already brought to the text. So a reading comprehension test like the MCAS, that also includes writing, the part that is comprehension, lots of times is testing a student's background knowledge and their vocabulary. It's not testing their reading comprehension skills. And one of the best things that we can do to help set up our elementary learners for success later in life is to build the world knowledge, especially students who are coming from different life situations and don't have the same opportunities to go to museums or have these really enriching summer experiences that some students get to have.
So the last thing I would like to ask you, when will you win question 2 in November? How do you think the schools are going to be transformed when we remove the high stakes but lift up the high standards of education in Massachusetts?
I think by taking away the high stakes nature of the MCAS will help us in elementary education because we'll feel less pressure to narrow the curriculum, that teachers and curriculum directors, school administrators, when they're constructing the times of the day, will hopefully feel more empowered to have our students experience rich content starting in the early elementary grades.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. And I think you've really lifted up that we educate students to be really good learners by the one-on-one intervention, the small class size, and not that education to the skills necessary to pass the test. So hopefully we're all going to celebrate when question 2 passes in November.